Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is Talking Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Daemien from REDDSTAR and Jake from Red Brick Road. Hi, guys.
What's up, man?
Damien, the last time you were on the show, you just released Fuck It All. What have you been up to since then?
Put out a lot more fucking music. That's definitely what's happened. Uh, yeah, just a lot of music. We actually ended up being in a movie. There's a whole bunch of shit. It's been pretty. It's been pretty cool.
What movie?
Some chick flick. They just did like the premiere for it like out in California, but I because I live in Jersey, I wasn't able to make it. But it's called My Favorite Girlfriend, and we're like performing in one of the scenes. So I got to see it, but I wasn't there for the premiere, so I don't think it's officially out yet.
Every day we live in life like this is nothing new. Always in denial, but you know it's really true. Why even bother? I'd rather go and suffer. But I am getting tired of just never knowing what to do. Now this is where we stand up. We don't need no commanders. Cause you will never go and brand us with our hands up like fuck you and your manners. I'ma go do it for outcasts. All of you haters should run fast. Cause I'm too fast for your slow ass. I'm done thinking even now. We're not ones with the control. Who will follow you? We will never fall in line. Never part of your design. You cannot divide us. Outsiders, the survivors. We don't wanna be the same. Never do it for the fame. You can never hide us.
Jake, the last time you were on the show, you just released your cover of Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. What have you been up to since then?
Directly following that, we put out a new music video and a new single, which would have to for the music video. It was called "I Am the Fear." We put that out. That did pretty well. Nothing super big or anything off it. We weren't in no movies, but so say congratulations to Damien on that. That's really cool. But yeah, we put that out and then got back in the studio, started working on crafting this next EP. We're gonna be looking into putting out this August now. So.
And are you gonna release a single before then?
Yeah, I think we're gonna actually release it since it's only 5 songs. We're gonna release it all by singles and then release the EP. Just push 5 singles for a while. It seems to be like what's working for us with like being able to like really promote things on TikTok and stuff like that.
I am the reason you can't sleep. I crawl inside your body, make you weak. I am the monster hiding under your bed, taking hostage of your head.
What do you guys prefer, singles or albums?
I mean, dude, these days singles. It's like I feel like the older generation still appreciate the projects, and having a physical CD or something. But I think for the most part right now, it's definitely singles.
Yeah, I'd have to say I agree. Like what I like being able to push singles, but then the reason I like to collect them onto an EP is then for the people who do care about a project and stuff, then they now know that these 5 songs that were singles all are like also kind of collective on the same EP or album, whatever.
How would you describe your band to someone who hasn't heard your music yet?
I would say all over the place because I feel like since we've been putting out music, like we've just had so many different sounds. I mean, kind of all in the same ballpark, but for the most part, like, I mean, for an example, like the next song we're about to put out, it's got a damn near like country chorus on it. But I mean, I guess that also plays in the part just liking all kinds of music. So it's just whatever ends up coming out comes out.
Jake?
Yeah, I mean, like for this album, I would say it's much more commercial and much more like pop rock than our past stuff. All our past stuff was very punk, very grunge driven and stuff. This album or EP by far is like the most musically driven. It's very there's a lot of sad songs on it, but it's very anthemic. I'd like compare it to like a more like pop route of like a lot of the emo stuff I grew up with, kind of like what bands like Shinedown and stuff like that did. There is still like an edge to it, but on this EP we definitely like took away a lot of like edginess and stuff like that, and went kind of more with like really big choruses and a lot of melody stuff going on like that. Just kind of having like power driven messages, I guess I'd say.
I'm happy we're all drinking. I don't know. Like nothing says Sunday fucking night at like having some fucking drinks.
In this day and age, do you think a band can survive without being on a label?
I'm hit and miss on that. Like I think it's definitely possible because of social media and streaming and all that. But I do think a label comes into play when you need those couple extra pieces that you can't really obtain just being like an independent artist. Because at the end of the day, there are gatekeepers. So I feel like the independent route, if like you only want to be at a certain level, I feel like is cool. Like not everybody wants to be this gigantic, huge mainstream artist, but then I feel like the label comes into play when you really are trying to like just be this completely different entity from like the average recording artist.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think what really matters nowadays is finding the right label, a label that's actually going to do a lot for you and excuse me, really kind of like back you up, put money behind you, put time behind you. Because we released our first full length album on a label, and it's still technically signed to that label for another 2 years. But like they just don't really do much. Like they only work as hard as I work. I got to do all the promo on it and stuff like that. So with like this next album, they wanted it, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go indie on this EP because I just like we don't have like the support and stuff that like we need from like a label. And like we're lucky because like our deal's really small. It's a very tiny percent. They don't own the masters or anything, so it's easy to get out of too. We just have to buy it at time. But I mean, basically all they were doing for us was like photoshopping pictures and kind of putting together little promotional things that we can just do ourselves. But like Damon was saying, the right label, yeah, who can like break down some of the gates stuff like that, get you into like some like outlets and stuff. So I'd say we're probably like at the first time in our lives where they're kind of equal routes.
Yeah, and to compliment that, like, I mean, you even take like a band. I mean, it's fucking plain as day. Like, you take a band like Bring Me the Horizon and think about how big they were in like Sempiternal era, which was like the last era before the mainstream label, and then they get signed to the mainstream label, and it went from like here, which they already were, to like where they're at now, that's just like through the roof. You know what I mean? Like now I mean, literally, like I actually got tickets for the next tour, and they're playing at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, which is like the Nets arena. And it's like just crazy to think that like Bring Me the Horizon and Knock Loose are playing in a fucking basketball stadium. You know what I mean? Like that's like you would never think that. I mean, especially Knock Loose, but obviously Knock Loose isn't headlining, but still, that's like just crazy to think about.
Yeah, I remember Bring Me the Horizon back when they were still, playing tour, like, which was a good tour, but it's not any stadiums. Like,
Yeah, it's fucking wild, man. I mean, but I mean, it it just that's part of. I mean, I'm not gonna say they obviously were a band for like so fucking long and were ahead of the curve on a lot of things, but like you definitely can see what happens when a label like the one that they have gets behind and like really fucking punches them through the ceiling and fucking takes them from the band that everybody already fucked with to the band that's like, yo, like we gotta with like everybody, those memes of all the bands with like it's like SpongeBob with the binoculars, and it's like bands watching Bring Me the Horizon's next move. It's like,
What was the album or song that came out this year that you love?
oh fuck, I'll let you go first, Jay, because I'm gonna have to really think about that one because I like it's a lot of music that comes out these days.
I know, like, I almost want to take like the easy route and be like, well, it didn't come out this year, but I've been listening to "Running Up a Hill" by Kate Bush a lot after the Stranger Things stuff. I mean, yeah, that one kind of like shot up there and stuff. I don't know. I have to think about it too.
Fuck, songs or albums, and I know I have a bunch. Because I mean, dude, I check out like every Friday. I make that like a routine to just check out new shit that's come out for the week. Um, I mean, like out the gate, I'm not gonna say this is the best, but I'll say one that like I've heard recently that I really liked. There's this chick named Mothica that's signed to Rise, and she's on tour with Coheed and Cambria, and I really fuck with her music a lot. Like they're like it's very like pop rocky, but it's like really good shit. Like I actually like that came out pretty recently, and I really like that album. But that's like one of a million fucking songs and albums that I've heard this year that I've really liked. So that's just me looking through my fucking recently added.
Yeah, I've heard her stuff. I really like her stuff. I'm trying to think like what I added to my playlist recently, but I just like I feel like I don't know the dates on when things come out, so I'm not sure if it's from this year or not. But trying to think. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can.
Trying to think of what else. I mean, dude, I can sit here and just run off like everything that's in here. Like fucking newest Five Finger singles, sick. I've been really liking this group Wargasm. I mean, there's so much shit. New Disturbed song was kind of cool. It was all right. Of course, was iffy, but I really liked the rest of the song. I think we lost Jake. Is he still on?
Yeah, I'm back. No, I was gonna say. So I looked at my like recently added. I'd say like the one artist. I'll give you an artist instead of a song. One artist that I found online too. His name's Arden Jones. I'd have to say I've been like listening to his stuff a lot more than anyone else's. And then the other band, Bad Flower. I'm wearing their shirt right now. Their album that came out is up there too. So, but I couldn't remember if that one came out late last year or early this year. So.
Yeah, Bad Flower's fucking sick. They ironically, the guy who recorded all of my band's like first batch of songs, he met the singer on like whatever rock ship or rock, like the ship rock like thing that they do on the cruise, and they like met on there and like talked about like music and shit because he was talking about how blown away he was when he saw him play on that. So, but I mean, obviously, I've been listening to them for like a minute since that big single came out. I forget as I'm drawing a blank on it. Uh,
Ghost, right?
yeah. So like the song that basically like fucking blew up for them. Yeah, I've been listening to them since that came out. So they're a sick band.
Yeah, I really like what they did on their last album too. This is how the world ends, because they really changed their sound and like really kind of experimented with new stuff. Like there's definitely a lot of songs and stuff that are more bass and synth driven and stuff like that. Where their first album was all like very like guitar driven, a lot of like punk structure and stuff to it.
Dude, fucking off the last album, the song "Family," that's just so sick, man. I love how it builds and it just gets like bigger and bigger and like more like emotional. Such a fucking sick song.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. And then like I like what they do with all their videos too. Like they're really good at putting together like videos for their songs.
How far are you willing to push the limits of your band's sound?
Damn. I guess to as far as they need to go. I mean, I don't think we would go heavier necessarily. Like I had my run with doing heavier music with my previous group, but I think now I don't really think there's a limit. I think it's just gonna be like once we've really like hit the nail on the head of like what's that song that fucking takes the band from here to here, then I guess it'll just be not recreating that, but taking that and keeping it in mind when creating other stuff. But again, I listen to so much different fucking music that I'm almost not super closed off to anything. So I think it's just whatever sounds good sounds good. I feel like that's why we get into this shit at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. I have a lot of influences and stuff too, like to where, and I'm always listening to something different, all different genres. I'd say with the Red Brick Road stuff, about as willing as far as I'd push it is like what sounds good and stuff, just as long as it doesn't deviate from the brand too much. Because like I do have another group that I'm starting like involvement with and stuff, and it's like super pop based. So with Red Brick Road, I kind of want to keep everything just more like, even though we'll bring pop elements into stuff, at the end of the day, I like the songs to stay somewhat in the alternative vein, you know? Like just still have that title, even if the song comes out more poppy, it's at least kind of like dark pop or like alternative pop, or all the way to punk rock, where there's actually a song we're working on that is a good example of like pushing it really far. Like the verses on it like don't have instruments at all. Like how it started was I challenged myself to make a beat just using like sound samples, kind of like what Blue Man Group would do, you know, like so like the kick drum is like someone hitting a tub or something. But then it like turned out to sound like really cool, so then I turned it into a song. But yeah, it's like it pushes the boundaries a lot because like other than the choruses, like there's technically like no musical elements in it, you know?
That's cool. That's pretty sick.
What kind of yearly goals do you set for yourself in the band?
Besides, we try to keep a like basically like a window of like every 6 8 weeks. We try to release like a new single. Um, I guess it would just be as much progression as possible because I mean, obviously, we could set the bar as high as we can, but I think real like the bar compared to the realism, it really there is like a bit of a gap, but at the end of the day, anything's fucking possible in this business. Like you can have anything from a festival slot opening up or a tour slot to a new management deal or a new label deal. Like I feel like that's just how this business is. So it's kind of like be prepared for anything, but just stay the course of like where you're at.
Yeah, personally, I can't agree with that more. I just kind of want to like just like piggyback his statement and say like, yeah, that's kind of where we got to. Also, is like more just be prepared. And then like one big thing we realized was kind of our problem was we were setting too many goals, and doing that we were not noticing things that were happening. So we're like suddenly getting a lot more followers on Instagram who might have been interested in a live at the time they all started following, but we're like, oh no, we want to do shows, so we're going to try to push these followers to come out to our shows. Well, people weren't at the time ready to go fully back out and stuff, not just because COVID, but because people got used to sitting at home, you know, it was a while after. But we just got too goal oriented, and then now it's like, yeah, let's set our goals based on what happens. If we're starting to get the buzz on TikTok, let's set our goal to post more TikToks. If we're getting a buzz from, live stuff people want to see us play, then let's throw a show.
Yeah, and to compliment what Jake just said, TikTok's fucking literally like where everybody needs to be right now because it's literally like, I mean, it's like slowly like, yeah, like industry people or whoever might be like, oh, but you should also still make sure you're doing your Instagrams and Facebooks and stuff like that. But in in this time, it's like TikTok's literally like where everybody needs to be, and it's honestly and it plays really good in favor for the musicians because of the amount of people who can use your fucking tracks for their videos, and then that all just kind of gets logged and logged and logged to where like next thing you know you have fucking tons and tons of videos using your shit, and then people are just like not even thinking about it, but then in reality you're gaining fans because your tracks getting spread out like wildfire from just something as simple as like a part of a song, and it could be just something that you either made intentionally for that regard or something that you're like, oh well, that's kind of ironic because I didn't think that like this part of the track would be good for TikTok videos or TikTok content, and then it ends up being that way. So it is definitely very important to be on there.
Yeah, for sure. We've gained had so much organic growth off it that like at in the beginning I was like leery of it, and I just hated taking the time away from playing guitar and songwriting to actually make like TikToks. But then like before when we were actually paying for promotion on like Facebook and YouTube, like we don't pay for any of that on TikTok, and we get the people funneling to like posting clips of music videos. People are commenting like, "Hey, went and watched the full thing on YouTube, love it." Like just the fact that people are doing that easy, like on Facebook and stuff, it seemed like you post a link and people would like the link, but no one was clicking through the link, and because they have to click it for it to play at all. And yeah, I think TikTok's a really good thing for the music industry as long as like it stays like on track and doesn't get nefarious from like labels and stuff like that. They'll eventually find ways to kind of beat down the small guys there, but I think it's kind of our opportunity being in smaller bands like to take right now. Before in a couple of years they'll find out how to shut us down on that too.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was gonna ask you. What do you do to attract fans to your bands? What are the different ways? You have TikTok. Now, what other ways do you guys use to attract fans?
I mean, obviously, besides like other social media, I mean, playlisting's huge. Like getting, I mean, it like landing a playlist, fucking that grows your numbers on your streaming platforms like exponentially. Especially when it comes to editorials. So between that and I think live shows, it's like I feel like that's like as much that's off the top of my head, I feel like that's like the most that you can do to really gain the fans. But again, like the comment we were just talking about, I really think that TikTok and playlisting on like Spotify and Apple Music, etc. I feel like those are like the two big ones for right now. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that too. That's where on the technical side, like all our focus is pretty much on TikTok and like playlisting. But as for like attracting fans from like any like if you like take all the different ways there are like live meeting people in person, sometimes meeting people at the bar and they're like, "Oh, you look like a musician." Like, "Yeah, I am." Like, "Here, check out my music." And then everything else we talk about all the technical ways, like my way of actually like attracting people no matter the setup is just to like always be like honest and like genuine with them. Like always show them that like I appreciate them looking into my music more than I appreciate them buying the merch or anything like that. Like, and like treating it kind of like a tribe or like a family type thing. Like, hey, if you get involved with this band, you're like part of this family, even if you're just a fan. Like, it's a bigger thing. Like, we write these songs that are all deep and stuff because we know the right people will connect with them. And I think to really attract fans, that's something you have to wear your heart on your sleeve, and just like kind of just be honest with people. Like, I'm just as appreciative of you being here because a lot of times they come off more, like, "Oh, your music's so great," or this or that, blah blah blah. And it's like, no, you're so great because you're here watching me play this music.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I try to be when like I'm really like that when it comes to shows because like I think about like you know like a lot of people like fucking just say it's $20 for a ticket. I mean that's $20 that a lot of people don't even have. Whether they got bills or family or whatever. So like when somebody does take the time out to come to an event that we're playing and they're buying the ticket and they're fucking just being there. Like not I don't even give a fuck about like buying merch or fucking anything else, but just the fact that they showed up, you know, that's like I try to take that tenfold and like fucking leave it all on the stage, whether there's fucking five people or fucking 50 or 100 or whatever, because at the end of the day, like I would hate to fucking pay to go to a concert and it fucking sucks, or like the guy's just phoning it in, like whatever, like no one's here. Like actually, a band that won me over like that was forever ago. I was actually going to try out for another band, and they were playing with From Ashes to New. And this is like the early lineup. Like this is like when they had like seven guys. They had a different singer, and they still had the rapper dude. But there was like nobody at this show, and dude, they went so fucking hard that I was like, yo, they could have easily phoned it in and been like, whatever, it's 10 people. Like we're not gonna lose our career over this, but like the fact that they like went so hard and like really made sure they put on a show like that that gained like so much respect to me, and that's just like one of the many reasons why like I feel like no matter like what the attendance is like they'll always just fucking leave it all up there because at the end of the day like they could have done anything else but they came to fucking see you, so you might as well make it worth it.
What was the concert that you went to that blew you away?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. Um, I'll tell you one off the top of my head, which is random. I like got invited to go fucking see Judas Priest for free. So I was just like, fuck it, why not? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm like this huge Judas Priest fan, but like, I was like, whatever. It was at an amphitheater. The seats were great. I'll fucking go. Why not? Dude, I was so blown away. Like, you gotta keep in mind, like, Rob Halford's old as fuck, dude. Like, this guy is old. And their set, it was like every song was the last song. Like, every song sounded like the finale or the encore. It was so crazy. And this old ass guy, his voice and range is insane. He was changing his outfit, like, in between every song. Guitar players like just ripping without even thinking about it, like behind the head, over here, over here. Like I was so blown away because I was like, I just went into it like, I'll just go because it's free. But the fact that like I went and I was like, holy shit. Like, yo, this guy has been doing this for this long and he's this old and he's still ripping it like that. Like, that's like, that I mean there's no words for it. It's just like that's a perfect example of like, wow, dude, like you're getting your money's worth going to that. But that's just like one of many. That's one that I could always like revert to that I'm like, fuck, dude, that concert was wild.
Did he ride a motorcycle out on stage?
Yeah. That was cool as fuck too. Dude, he was like hanging off of the bike singing. It was crazy. I was so blown away. This was only like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. It was not that long ago. But so it was just unbelievable. I just didn't expect it. All right, Jake. I know that story was crazy, but I'm sure you got your own band that blew you away.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot though, so like, I was trying to take the time of you telling your story to like think of like which one I want to use because like there's so many incredible shows I've been to. I mean, like, so like one band that's never failed that's like recently. Okay, so I actually never liked this band, but Shinedown, and I know I used them a little bit ago too. What made me actually fall in love with them, and now I like most of what they put out. Some of their stuff's a little too not my style, but is I went to see Bad Flower and Seether were opening for Shinedown. That's why I went. And I really didn't give a shit about Shinedown at the time. And their show was just so freaking impressive that like it got me into them. But I'd also again like want to use Bad Flower because I've seen them live like 3 times now. and their show always impresses. They have like with them their live shows like the rawness of the music, but also like their light programming and everything is just like great, you know, which makes sense because I seen an interview with the singer through on Bad Flower, and he said he basically started designing his live shows based on what Shinedown does. So I'm like, okay, but. One band I really want to talk about though is Dead Poet Society. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They're kind of up and coming. I went and seen them, and they were really good from the standpoint of the minimalism. Like it was like not a lot of backing tracks, just like the four dudes on stage, like just like playing the song and just like kind of like leaving it all up there, doing what they can do. They didn't have the light show or anything like that, so yeah, those would be my recent ones.
I've heard that name. I've just never actually like listened to them before. So they're worth checking out.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I think from what I've heard about your music taste, you'll definitely dig them for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to. I was just looking it up because I was like, how do I know that name? But I didn't have anything saved on my phone, so like I just added them to my Apple Music. So I'll have to check that shit out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Do it. Like I said, through everything I've heard so far about the bands you listen to, you'll definitely dig them. And yeah, like you probably know the name though because they're smaller still, but like somehow they're just fucking everywhere. Like every like small like rock festival and stuff, they're like one of the names in like the tiny print, you know. And it's like they're doing a lot, but they're just not like they're just still a fine print name, but they're a good band for sure.
You know what's funny too is that I get the fucking Shinedown comparison with our music so much, but like I don't necessarily listen to them like that, which is like really weird. Like I love that style of music, but I never like I can sit here and say like, dude, I bought Shinedown like crazy, and that's why we sound like them. That's always like the instant comparison I get with my clients. I don't think so personally, but it's just so interesting because it's like the one band I always hear. This is what they sound like. So that's what I was interested.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like a comparison I get a lot with mine that I don't really get, and like it makes mine's like the opposite. It makes sense it comes out, but is My Chemical Romance. But I think like the reason, like, or at least with the newer stuff, like I think the reason I don't see it and disagree with it is I put My Chemical Romance on like such a huge pedestal to where when people are like, oh yeah, like this chorus kind of sounds like it could have been on the Black Parade. Like I'm like, no, it couldn't. No, it could not. No way.
Yeah, I know that feeling. It's like anytime people make a comparison like that, it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, I've actually fucking, ironically, because I'm from New Jersey, I met Gerard Way's parents, like, randomly at, like, the mall near where I used to live. Fucking, we were, like, I was, like, just chilling in the food court eating, and they sat next to me. They're just, like, two old people. And they were like, you look like you like the emo stuff. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, I'm getting judged by like, some older people. And they're like, yeah, you might know my son. And I'm like, yeah, who's your son? They named the brother. And I was like, okay. And then like, and my other son is the singer, Gerard. I'm like, uh-huh. And then dude, this guy was old. Like, there's no way he would know this much about my chem. So it was believable, And then I came to find out that his mom always like goes into the hot topic and is always like, my son is. It's my son does like all the time because my friend's like the manager at that hot topic. So it was really fucking random. But yeah, I fucking had stewards with fucking Broadway's parents.
Okay. Um, these artists released their debut album 20 years ago. Audio Slave, 30 Seconds to Mars, Avril Lavigne, Stone Sour, Theory of a Dead Man, and The Used. What do you think about that?
I mean, I could say I like all of them. I can't say I can like name 5 songs from each fucking artist, but I definitely can say I like each artist. I mean, hell, I actually liked a lot of the new Avril Lavigne that came out recently. I actually thought it was kind of cool. It's like interesting how she like literally looks like the same person even though her debut album came out 20 years ago.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long since they released their debuts. Honestly, for sure. Yeah, the first three bands definitely. Avril Lavigne has always been one of my favorite artists until she went to that. She did that whole period of hey hey you I could be your girlfriend. No, but before that and then again after that, like what Damien was saying, the new stuff's pretty good. 30 Seconds to Mars, not as big of a fan of all their work, but their hits are good. But Jared Leto is like one of my favorite like people, so like I'll give them some credit for that. I just like that he does a lot of acting and music. He's kind of a renaissance man, you know. And then what was the first one? Oh, Audio Slave, of course. Anything with Chris Cornell. Which the funny thing is, I actually like hate most Soundgarden songs now because only for the fact I listen to them too much. Like I still love them, but like especially like the ones like Fell on Black Days and Black Hole Sun and stuff, the ones that are on the radio, can't stand them because like I spent so much time like learning how to sing them, learning the lyrics to them, learning them on guitar. That like I mean, I'm telling you, there's days I sat there listening to Fell on Black Days hundreds of times in a row. So with Audio Slave, I like them. I think they did pretty good.
Damien, what do you guys got coming up?
So we basically just announced that we're coming out with a song on, I want to say the 29th. I might be wrong, but let's just say the 29th. Call it even. Um, which, like I was saying before, is pretty different. It's like the first song that we did where like we went total fucking southern rock with it. But I love that shit, so I don't really care, literally. But besides that, a couple of things that we can't really talk about, but let's just say that we're fucking being busy as fuck. I mean, I literally fly to LA like almost every month now. It's kind of, and especially with the price of flights, it's like kind of nuts. But I go and do these little ghetto things that I do to fucking get cheap flights because I ain't trying to spend those $700 round trips every fucking month. So, but yeah, just more music, more content, just fucking hammering away.
Can you tell me a little bit about that song?
I can't really explain like how it came about, but it's like funny because like when we were making it, because like we've been working with Matt Good, who he's like, you know, he does everybody. Like he did like the last Asking Alexandria record. He does fucking ton of fucking people. And he used to be in From First to Last. But anyway, like we were making it, and like I did like when we did the chorus, he was even like, I don't know, does it sound like just like too southern, too country? And I'm like, who gives a fuck, man? You know, like at the end of the day, I like if it sounds good, it's like who really cares? And it's like, and it's funny because, and I wrote about this on my social media when I posted about it, but like when a lot of people think of New Jersey, they think, you know, the shore, like the TV show, they think like Atlantic City, they think like they think more like commercial, rural, fucking houses on top of each other. But there's a big portion of it that's all woods, and it's very like where I'm from. Like people like resent all the shit that they think of when other people think of New Jersey. So it's very different, and I feel like this is the first song that like really kind of captures like the, you know, you're a product of your surroundings type thing. So I really like it. So I don't know. I think it'll be definitely interesting for listeners to hear because when they listen to like what we put out first to what we're putting out right now, it's definitely two different vibes, but I still am the same person at the end of the day. So I don't really think that shit matters. But to complement what Jake said earlier, being on brand is very important, you know. So what I'm saying, I'm not going to say is like the complete right way to do things, but at the end of the day, I personally have just learned, I've just gone off the beaten path way more times than not. So I feel like that's why I just take the risk that we do. And I'm happy that my band's cool with that. And we just kind of fucking make shit. And if it sounds dope, we put it out. So
Jake, what do you got going on for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so basically just focusing on putting out this EP single by single, um, doing lyric videos for at least all the songs, gonna push it heavy on TikTok, start a GoFundMe to try to get some budget to do music videos and stuff like that. Like, hopefully, what I'm hoping to do with it is be able to do a music video for all 5 songs, but since the whole or EP is cohesive, then after dropping each music video, putting out like a full length one that also has like cut scenes in it, like between the music videos that will then tie all the music videos together. So then it'll be like kind of like a short film that all like goes with like the music. But with that, a lot of that's dependent on getting some loan money and some, some crowdfunding stuff. Um, Other than with this EP, definitely as soon as like I have one more session, I got to go back to do a little more mixing on it, and then it's going to get sent off to mastering, and then it's going to be working on the next EP. So what you're like, I'm constantly working on 2 things. So when I get into the promotional stage with the EP or whatever, I'm also like what the general public's not seeing as much of because I'm focusing on pushing the new songs is I'm in the studio again. So like, I'll be like, posting TikToks like, hey, go check out my new song. This just came out, and I'm in the car like going to like record a song for the next frickin' thing already. So yeah, just like same thing Daemien was saying, just frickin' just gonna keep pushing, just doing a lot, staying busy, all that.
Damien, how can we get a hold of you? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Nowhere. I'm off the grid. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, everything. Fucking. If people can see the little name in the corner, fucking. If they search that, everything comes up. But if not, it's Daemien Daemien Drake. And if you don't feel like fucking trying to spell that, then just search my band. That's REDDSTAR, all one word with 2 D's. That's on everything. So yeah, that's basically the easiest way to find shit.
Okay, Jake, where can we get a hold of you guys?
So like for my stuff that is like more like personable or like more of like my life and my music, like where it's all like pertaining to music, but like sometimes I'll just do like dumbass like, hey, this is how you cook when you lived in a van with a band type things. Like that all that stuff's gonna be who the hell is Jake Jones? That's like, all my music persona stuff, and then like all the band stuff is Red Brick Road Music on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that. And then again, yeah, just if you Google Red Brick Road, it'll take you to wherever you're trying to go.
Thanks, guys, for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah. Play our shit. That's it.